This is a psychic development reading for the seeker. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and surround us in light. So I haven't done that quite yet. All right, I'm going to use my lepidolite. Okay, so right away coming to the feet, as I'm surrounding you in the protective space, there's an energy at the feet that kind of feels like like what you're doing with your career. It almost feels a little bit out of place, like out of touch with you, in the sense of what you truly feel that you're going to be doing later down the road, or what you would really want to be doing, or what you're going to be contributing to the world. It feels like this right now is just a means for you to support yourself, but that's a good thing. This thing of question 3 too. How you're asking about your soulmates and meeting them. This feels like a future thing too. It really feels like you kind of need to let go of this idea for now. It feels like you're going to find this person, but you're going to find this person when you're doing something spiritual, which is your path, but it feels almost like it feels a little bit later down the line, not far in the future. It just doesn't feel like now, and it doesn't feel like months from now either. It feels, I don't know if I want to say the time frame or not. Okay, you know what? The time frame is coming in. There's a time frame coming in. I feel like your guides want me to say it because I feel like there's this idea of you letting this go for now. So I feel like I'm supposed to say this. But it feels like maybe 1-2 years in there. It feels like years. It doesn't feel like months. It doesn't feel like years and years. It doesn't feel like way far out, but it doesn't feel like right now. It feels like for a little while you're going to be preparing yourself to meet the person, but at the same time not really so much thinking about the person. It feels like when you let that go, you're going to attract it more easily. But it just doesn't feel like it's meant to come to you now. It feels like if it did come to you right now, then you would end up knowing that it's the wrong person. It wouldn't be the real deal. It wouldn't be the real person coming to you right now, because it doesn't feel like at this stage of development for you, that you're ready to experience that right now. It feels like it would be the wrong person. And there would just be some lesson for you to learn. But it also feels like you would learn it really quickly. You don't need to be with the wrong people. You need to be in your space, and you really need to do you. That's really a theme coming in with this energy. That's a very strong energy coming right now. You need to really do you, focus on you, your life path, which right now is just supporting yourself, and at the same time working on yourself spiritually. But that almost feels like, it feels like a main thing, because that's the way that you live your life. But at the same time, it almost feels like a side thing at the same time. Even though it's who you are, it feels like that's supporting something else. That's going to help you with what you're meant to be contributing later on. Once you're in a space where you really know what you're meant to bring through, it feels like you're going to be in a different physical surrounding, maybe even a different country. It even feels like it doesn't feel like you're going to be doing these things. And I don't feel like your guides want to say what all of these things are right now. In fact, it feels like if you knew all of it beforehand, you wouldn't end up led there. It feels like you would ultimately, but it feels like it would actually slow things down, for you to have too much of a heads up of what could be happening later on. But it feels like the next couple of years, maybe a little before 2 years, but closer to 2 years than one. This feels like. So somewhere in between 1 and 2 years, and you are in a very different space at this point. It feels like you have other people around you. You're doing something that you feel called to do, and you meet this person. And it feels like they're just like you. It feels like they have higher intentions that you possess. And it feels like this is not a good time for them right now. They are not meant to meet you right now in their life. It feels like they're going through their own inner clearing right now, and they need to be established for themselves. So for either of you, you're working on other things right now. And if you actually let that go and you really focus on yourself and what you feel to do right now, and your guides are saying that really intuitively, okay, I know that you want to meet this person, but really intuitively, if you feel it out, I think you're going to know it really isn't the right time to meet this person. Your guides are saying that. You can feel that intuitively. If you go into that and you just trust and you allow, and you don't put anything like expectations of what you want to receive, then it feels like this is really the message that is going to easily be sent to you. It feels like you could end up blocking it by not letting it go, because there are other things that need to be happening right now, and you need to give your attention to those things. They need to be completely your priority, and not attached to this person at all, or the idea of this person, because understand that the things that you feel to do right now, they are not, in the sense, overall, they are leading you to this person. But these specific things, they're not specifically what you're going to be doing when you meet the person. So in that sense, they're not directly leading you to the person. So you need to let go of that for now and focus on these things, because you're going to be in a totally different space, in kind of a totally different dimension in a sense. Here, obviously, here. But your vibration is going to be altered, is what they're saying. You're going to be in a different space. And you're going to be ready for that higher energy to come to you. That's a higher meeting. Right now, you need to be more focused on more kind of mundane things. But at the same time, working on higher self-intentions. At the same time, working on growing spiritually. So you're still working on growing your gifts. You're still working to be you. And you're still coming to conclusions, you know, you're still having aha moments, you're still figuring things out. But this needs to be a time, a phase, where you work on you, where you really self-reflect. And you let kind of future concepts go, in a sense. And you focus on clearing yourself and doing what you feel to do now as well, to physically, financially support yourself. But understand that that's going to change later. You're not going to support yourself in the same way, but don't go looking for a different way right now, because right now you need to be focused on this way, this specific area. So what you're doing right now is right. The fact that this is taking a little time just shows you that there is inner work that needs to be done before you can meet this person, and that's okay. Okay, and your guides are actually saying that part of the reason that you want to meet this person, obviously, this isn't the only factor in it, okay? But there is kind of a thought form that wants to rush this for the reason of what others think, actually. How they see you as you are alone, in a sense. As you have no companion. Or as you have friends, but not close, true friends who really relate to you and respect you in this area, in this spiritual area. It kind of feels like people kind of make fun of you in that area. Even friends, they would kind of make fun of you in that area. It feels like even if not to your face, they would just kind of hold that a little bit, which actually isn't towards you at all. It would be like literally towards, it's literally towards, it's not towards you, because it would literally be towards anybody who thought like you or who was into spiritual things. It's spirituality in general that they're against. So your guides are saying, so don't take it personally. They're saying, yes, there are people who think things of you. There are people who think, in a sense, bad things in their own mind. And your guides are being upfront about that. They're saying that flat out. You already know that. So they're saying, get comfortable with it. It doesn't matter. Let it go. And they're saying that this is something big to work on. They're saying, think about what you want to be doing later. Even much later. Because they're saying you think that you're doing this now, okay? And this is them talking about your ultimate spiritual goals, okay? And how you want to sort of reform your physical vehicle. And become your reality, okay? This concept. I know you know what I'm talking about. They're saying that you think that you are partially on that process now, but they're saying, but even that you can let go. The revelations that you're having right now, your guides are saying they are clearing you. They're saying you cannot make those kinds of improvements yet. You have to let that go in the sense of clear yourself. That's still part of the process, but not on the same stage. It's not the same stage of it. It's a preparation for it. And that's where you're at right now. And that's a good thing. You have to be patient with the flow of how things are and how things are coming to you and how things are working out in your favor right now. And it may not be the pace that these rushing kind of thought forms would prefer. But again, some of these thought forms have to do with what other people think. And you want to manifest this body right now. And you want to manifest these ideas that you have in your head into physical form right now so that others can see it. So your guides are saying you need to get rid of that first. This thing that cares what others think, they're saying until you get rid of that, you will not be your reality won't be manifested. How can you manifest those types of concepts, right? That's a huge concept, okay, to wrap your head around. Immortality is a really big thing. Breatharianism, really big thing. These are big concepts for people. And you're kind of around small-minded people right now. If you care what they think about little things, or just about your beliefs in general, you actually proving to them, yeah, I've manifested that, and you still having that thing there that really cares what they think. Your guides are saying they're gonna freak out. You know, they would have a much harder time incorporating the actual thing than just the idea of it. And so that's really going to hold you back. This concept of, I care what others think. Because they're saying, because if you care what others think, you can't be a breatharian. If you care what others think, you can't be immortal. And those are huge concepts. So you need to take this back a little bit further. And what can you do right now to tackle this? Because there are smaller things that already you feel a lot about when it comes to what other people think, besides breatharianism. You know, you're not a breatharian yet, and you're already caring about what people think. So this is something that your guides really want to bring forward. And they want you to know that you are really on the right track right now. You're doing all the right things. And they certainly approve of you. If your guides approve of you, you know, if you approve of you and your guides approve of you, that's all that matters. Even your guides, they're saying that in the sense of we're with you, you know. They care about you. They want you to focus on you because they care about you. They know where you're at in your life right now, and you're doing all the right things. You're on the right track. It's just some beliefs that they are helping you to remove as this sort of as this path unfolds for you. But in the sense of it matters that they approve, even then it really doesn't. Your guides are still separate from you, and you need to get that. No one matters as far as their approval of you. Only your approval of yourself matters. And when you really get that, you're just gonna like bust forward. You're just gonna run like a horse, you know, or a car. They're saying a car. A car is a little faster than a horse, or a spaceship. They're saying spaceship too. Your guides are saying this is easy. Think of it in an easy way. All you have to, oh my God, all you have to do is let go. Yeah, that's really like, that's the easiest thing. It doesn't feel that way. But your guides are saying that when you do it, you realize that it's actually really easy. You don't have to find the right one right now. You don't have to be a breatharian right now. This isn't on your shoulders. You just need to keep doing you in the way you're meant to right now. And understand that wanting this to be over is a rush thought form. And that thought form is actually going to block you from ending up where you need to be. So that's really the goal right now, is remove that those thought forms. Anything that cares what someone else thinks, get rid of it. That's the thing to really look at. And that's really a fear. So they're saying that this goes back to actually a reptilian seed, they're saying, which is just in general fear. It's just your basic emotion. Everybody has it. It's not a specific thing. Then you end up with these thought forms that are attached to that specific thing or come out of that specific thing. But what you really ultimately want to tackle and get rid of is anything coming out of this reptilian programming of just general fear. I'm afraid of you. I'm afraid of meeting myself. I'm afraid of meeting myself because of you. I'm afraid of becoming my reality because of the implications, and because of what you will think. But I'm also just afraid of becoming my reality because that's there too, on a subconscious level. And your guides are saying that's why we're not our realities yet. In some way, we're blocking it. In some way, we don't want to embrace it yet. For some reason, there's some fear there that we have to let go of. So your guides are saying that this is something to really get. Okay, so I'm going to get into my other crystals here. Okay, so I have my lepidolite I already showed you. This has to do with psychic abilities. It has a lot to do with your subconscious, like hypnosis and dream time, astral projection, and connecting to your inner self. And then I have these 3 crystals which have a lot to do with psychic abilities as well, and I don't know why I keep picking these still. This is like my 6th reading in a row, at least, where I've chosen these 3 crystals again and again and again. And I've never done that before. So this is my Shattuckite, someone who is really into watching all of my readings, like literally has these crystal meanings memorized now. So Shattuckite has to do with grounding, healing with earth energies, and then just in general psychic abilities, seeing the future, clairvoyance. Then I have here my Malachite. This has a lot to do with psychic protection, empathy, grounding, and being self-aware of what is around you, the energies that you're taking in. Even the advice that you're taking in is for some reason something that your guides are saying that's coming up. Okay, is it good advice? Is it bad advice? You're saying your guides are saying that is how that's how you can tell if it's good or bad. Does the advice work for you truly? Did it help you? Did it help you to feel better? Were you more at home? How did it sound? How did it feel as it was coming through? This thing that you were saying in the email, I paused the video a minute because your guides wanted me to look at that email for a second, your old email that you sent before you sent in the questions. And you were mentioning that sometimes there is this rusty voice. You hear it sounds rusty. Your guides actually sound more clear. The voice sounds a little different in your head. That's very good. That's showing that you're definitely getting better with channeling. That's straight up channeling, though, that you're talking about. That's not so much like an intuitive reading, like we were going over before. This is more you just straight up channeling. And that can be harder to do, but you, from what it sounds like, you're not doing too badly with it. So your guides are saying that there's always room for improvement, but that's good. So they're saying that there are still some things coming through here or there that aren't good advices, that seem like it, that seem like a real voice is speaking to you. But they're saying, but in general, you have this down pretty well, where you don't have to worry so much about whether it's a thought form or not, because you're pretty good at knowing whether it is or not at this point. So you should go to your guides. They're saying you should ask them about these specific things that they've been bringing up, letting go, and preparing for your process, but not being on it, not being on the real thing. They want to talk to you about that and what you need to do. Specifically, which has to do with inner clearing. It's not all physical stuff or physical related, like I'm going to eat, pineapples or or oranges, or I'm going to cut this or that out of my diet. They're saying that that's a step in the right direction, only when you feel to do that. If you feel to do those things, if you feel to do that, then you're on the right track with that, and they're validating that as well. So they're not saying take anything away unless you feel to change something. But this that they want to talk to you about isn't really physically related. It's about your inner self, thought forms, and how specifically to clear them, and what's there to tackle next, and to be observant and clear and focused. So as long as you continue clearing thought forms and you use this connection with your guides to clear thought forms, clear out the other voices, you're not going to have a problem if you keep communicating with them about that in that way first, they're saying. That needs to be the priority. Then you know that you can be clear to communicate with them about other things as well. But if you're not clear, if you're not working to clear yourself, then they're saying not to bother asking them for other information about other things, because it won't be clear. Your guides are speaking kind of bluntly a little bit in this reading, like in just a clear, direct, upfront kind of approach, which says that you can handle things, you can handle that type of energy, and also that you need that kind of clear, almost snap you out of it type of energy right now. And that's what your guides are doing. They're giving you the energy to assist you with whatever it is you need right now. There's going to be one guide who speaks to you on a day when you need you know, you need emotional comfort, for instance. You need emotional healing in some way. There's going to be another guide who comes to you. So there's going to be a guide that comes to you in a comforting way. There's going to be a guide at various different stages. There are going to be different guides that come through because they're not all going to tackle the same things. They're not all meant to tackle the same things. That's why you have various ones. And so even that, where you're noticing, sometimes it's this female one who comes to me. Sometimes it's all of them. It's like several or a few of them. It's multiple ones. Sometimes it's this male. Sometimes it's that female or that male. So it's a female, but it feels different from this other one. They're saying that maybe you're not quite there yet with always telling who is who, because they're saying that there are different females and different males. So you might not have that quite down quite yet, they're saying, where you always are necessarily picking up on that subtle of a difference. But they're saying that that'll come naturally. You're doing really well right now with telling a thought form that you're channeling from telling a guide that you're channeling. And your guides are saying that you don't want to straight up channel a thought form. Because you're just in their energy more and more. So they're able to snap you out of it. They're able to pull you out of that energy and pull through where they bring you into their energy and your energy versus your thought form's energy. But your guides are very serious about aiding you in the long run. So they have every intention of you meeting this person, okay? And they have every intention of you completing these goals, okay? Becoming breatharian, becoming your reality self, okay? And in this lifetime, they have every intention of that. But they're saying that you've got to work with them too. This is a long process, not a short one. And it can't be a quick fix ever, they're saying. You're in it for the long run, not the short run. So that means to sort of give up on meeting this person. Give up on becoming breatharian. Not because you won't pick it up later, not because you won't eventually do that, but because right now you need to be focusing on something else. There are things that they want to guide you on that you're not really necessarily asking about. And if you're not asking about them, how can they guide you? And obviously, sometimes they can bring up things that just come through from them that you're not asking about. Like when I give a reading, for instance, half the time they're not talking about something that the person was even asking about, and then they get to the questions, which is why I'm not one of those readers that, gives a 10-minute reading and they're like, oh, this is a 3-question reading for 10 minutes. It won't happen. Your guides are going to talk about a million other things without answering your questions half the time. So I have to give that time frame. So their point is, yes, they can bring things through, but at the same time, you have to kind of, you have to kind of know what they want to talk about, or at least be very open to what they want to talk about and not closed. And it does feel like that's one thing, that being kind of stuck to something and holding on to an energy, where you're needing to rush and you're wanting that thing now. Then it would be harder to hear other things that they want to say that don't go along with that. So your guides are saying that you're doing very well. They're saying very well. You're doing very well. But you're asking what you should know, what they would want you to know in regards to this. So they're saying that's the tip of the iceberg. That's sort of that's like the little tidbit that they're going to give you for right now. But they're saying that this is an ongoing process and things are unfolding that you're not aware of behind the scenes. They're removing thought forms. They're cleansing you, and you're entering another dimension energetically. It doesn't mean that physically. It doesn't mean that physically you're in a different one exactly. It can mean that, but it doesn't mean that suddenly you're just on some other planet or something. Or that you necessarily have different people around you, although eventually that will occur. And that will be because you're in a higher dimension. But it will be a natural progression. Like your guides are saying, a lot of people think that they're just going to zap into some other dimension, you know. Suddenly they're in the 5th dimension. And they're surrounded by angels and fairy flower people. And nobody needs to eat. Your guides are saying, no, this is a process. You have to do the work. But they're also saying that they know that you know that. They don't really need to tell you this. But they're just mentioning this because of these rushing thought forms that you have. They're saying that this takes a long time. And even if it doesn't take a long time, because it's still relatively quick for what you're wanting to do. It's not like far, far future where you're going to be tackling these things. But it just feels long. In the long run, your guides are saying you're going to look back and go, oh my gosh, that was really quick. That was a really, really not a long amount of time at all. But when you're in it, it can feel like it can feel a lot longer when you're in it. When you're in the beginning stages and you're clearing things and those things want to fight you from continuing, they're going to make it feel even longer, especially if you have rushing thought forms, which most people have. That's just part of our society. People want to prove themselves. People want to do it now. People want to learn a language in 30 days. You know, they don't want to learn the language in 3 years. They want to learn it in 3 months fluently, you know, where they can speak to anyone in any way, where they know all the slang, they know everything really well. And your guides are saying that's not going to happen, or that would at least be rare. Most people need more than 3 months to be able to do that. And your guides are saying that that's the natural flow for here, for this dimension. And you came into this dimension for a reason, to learn through that natural kind of slow feeling progress. But you're actually moving forward relatively quickly. They're saying that you are moving forward quickly. It just appears to be moving slowly. And that's only because of the way that it feels. That's just this, it's a completely feeling-based thing. It feels slow, but it's not slow. And you think things based off what you feel. So if your emotions are telling you this isn't going quickly enough, then you think that because you feel that way. Your guides are saying that it's mainly your feelings that you have to tackle to remove all of this, caring what others think, and even what they think. It's out of their feelings that they're thinking those things. So they need to tackle their feelings as well. That your guides are saying, but also that's their job. They're saying that you want to provide the solution for others. And they're saying that ultimately you are going to be helping other people. So that's understandable that you have that. But not these people. Not these people. So do you. That's really the message. Okay, so I have a few more minutes, but that's really all that they have to say. So I'm going to just focus on doing some energy clearing now. Okay, so I'm going to start with my lepidolite. Again, really using this lepidolite a lot. I don't think I mentioned this crystal here. I also have my citrine. So citrine has to do with finding who you are. It has to do with your willpower, your determination. It also has to do with career and financial stability and really knowing yourself. And just in general, your sense of self. It corresponds a lot to the solar plexus. So your guides are saying that citrine is a really good stone for you, or other solar plexus stones. They're saying sunstone. Sunstone is a good one. They're also saying that clear quartz, that's just sort of a general, it's just sort of good for everything. Good with balancing most any kind of issue, because it relates to any of the chakras. They're saying in that it can clear out any of the chakras. So it's not really so much associated with just one or just one thing. It's kind of one of those all-around crystals. And it can just boost your energy in general. They're saying that you need kind of energy boosters when it comes to like the crystals that you have around you. They should be like either general crystals that help you psychically, or Solar plexus crystals, solar plexus. Okay, so whew, there's some right around the chest. What is that? Heart chakra is the area where that is. I'm going right down through the middle, but coming to the chest. Whew, there's a lot of energy there. I know you were saying that you cleared a lot of that. There's definitely more to work on there. Whew, yeah, a lot of like heavy energy in that area. Not only the heart chakra, but up a little bit higher too, between the throat and the heart chakra. So that's the higher heart chakra is what a lot of people call that. Even though I don't really believe in a regular chakra system, as you might be aware of, the council doesn't really teach that, but that's generally referred to as the higher heart. There is a main chakra in there. And this has to do with empathy and your contributions to the world and sort of feeling just deeper things and deeper connections and sort of world empathy versus only strictly empathy. And it just kind of takes it to like psychically kind of a more mastered level. It develops empathy a lot more. And it also has to do with the collective versus just, simple people around you and those relationships. So that's why it's called the higher heart chakra. So there's that, and there's the heart chakra. And there's definitely some blocks going on in there. Just energies that need to be cleared. And it feels like that you've had since you were a kid. It feels like some things more recently have brought things up. It doesn't feel like recent. But in the past months, it feels like. So it does feel like you're pulling out of it, but they definitely want you to be aware that there is more to clear still. There's a lot more to clear. So just be aware of it. Ooh. There's this feeling that you constantly think that things are going to be a certain way or that you have, and that's been sort of shattered, but your guides are saying that that's a good thing. That you need to see clearly what something is rather than expect it to be a certain way. And then it's not that way. And you get your hopes up and then you're tied into this thing. And it doesn't go the way that you thought. But that's not the only thing there in the heart chakra. A lot of this is going back to childhood. It's not so much recent, like in the past months, like they were saying, it is going a lot deeper to childhood, and that's also why there's things going on in the higher heart as well. Some of it goes back to past lives, but generally, the majority of it is this lifetime. And the Father specifically, and this more recent stuff in the past months, whatever they're referring to, they're saying, however you attracted that goes back to your Father. The thought forms that attracted those more recent experiences, it goes back to your Father. And that's really what you need to clear. And a lot of this thing of expectations and expecting people to be a certain way, this goes back to your Father. But also having expectations for yourself in a rushed way. They're saying some of that goes back to your mother too. But that feels like 50-50. Feels like your father and your mother. But a lot of your issues with thought forms and fears specifically are going back to the Father. And it feels like even issues that your other siblings have, especially male siblings. Father. It feels like they especially have father issues. Whether they know it or not. Meaning thought forms that are derived from their father, that are generational, that pass down to them. Okay, so I'm switching here to my Fuchs site. You need to be careful of what you say. This energy is going right to your mouth. This stone is about receiving information. So in this case, it's talking about even giving information. So the opposite. You need to be careful of what you let out to others. There are small-minded people around you. If you don't want to have a lot of energy coming towards you, then be careful what you say. Don't tell them too much. There's this thought form that kind of needs to be accepted as it is. You need to be accepted as you are, is what this thought form wants. And so it just wants to say everything about who it is and itself and its beliefs and everything. And they're saying, your guides are saying that doesn't aid you at that time, and it won't end up aiding you. You need to let that go. They're saying you need to practice stillness around others with handing them your beliefs, because they're reminding me of this thing that Jesus said. He said, don't cast your pearls before swine, because the pigs will just trample them. They're not going to understand that they are pearls, because pigs can't understand that concept. They can't understand that concept. They're going to see the pearls and trample them in the mud and destroy them. They don't know that they are pearls. Okay, they think that there's something else because they're a little bit small-minded, the people around you. Okay, so don't cast your pearls before swine. And that's not your guides like name calling or something. This is just they're bringing in just this quote that Jesus said. As a reference to to just kind of give you some sense. Talk some sense into you when it comes to this area. Okay, so that is the end of this reading. Thank you so much, the Seeker, once again, for allowing me to do another reading for you. And it's been a little while. Thank you so much. I truly hope, as always, that this reading has benefited you. Namaste.